ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a fresh episode of the HT Dialogues, where we pick up issues of critical interest to schools, students, and parents. In today's discussion on creating the green workforce today for tomorrow, we will talk about the need to reskill our students, the future leaders, in order to create a green workforce that is not left behind in the shift towards a more sustainable future. India has a total of 25 crore school students studying across 15.5 lakh schools. Even if half of these students will take up climate issues seriously in the future, it will gravely accelerate the fight India is striving against climate change. Hence, we must ensure that all children are equipped with quality education that gives them the knowledge and tools necessary to tackle climate change. Our esteemed guests for this discussion today are Ms. Tanya Joshi, Principal at the Indian School Sadik Nagar. She has been in the field of education for 30 years. She was a sub editor in The Statesman and worked in the Center for Science and Environment as a producer for the Green File. Welcome, Ms. Joshi. Dr. Bhavna Kulshresht is principal Amity International School, Ghaziabad. For the past 30 years, she has been serving at top league Indian organizations. Dr. Kulshresht was felicitated with nomination for Hindustan Times Woman of Substance Award 2012-13. Mr. Manav Subodh is a social entrepreneur. He is the founder of 1 Million for 1 Billion Foundation, popularly known as 1M1B. His areas of focus include youth entrepreneurship, climate action, and responsible AI. For his work with youth and rural communities, Manav has been recognized by Forbes, BBC, UC Berkeley, United Nations, and others. A very warm welcome to you all today. Let me start by asking you, Ms. Joshi, how important is it to include environmental and sustainable education in the school curriculum?
So, Rupali, before I give you an answer to that, I must say that I'm very, very happy that you've taken up this topic, because this topic is something which one has to think about, because for our future citizens, it's very, very important. And I'm also very glad to be in this esteemed panel that you have today. The fellow panelists, I think, are class apart. Now, getting back to your question, it is very important that we include, anything to do with environment in a big way in our schools. As I just said, we have the future citizens. So if the future citizens are neither aware nor are they prepared for the future, I think that is absolutely futile on the part of the school. So just to give you a small example, what we've done in our school is we've taken up a theme called Reclaiming My Planet. So we have all the SDG goals which are being talked about, but we try and do things right at the micro level and the macro level. So let's say anything that has to be made, like a board, a class board, we try to use all the material which can be reused, recyclable material. So these are very small baby steps that we take, but I think it is absolutely necessary that the youth of today, the child of today, not just the youth, everybody has to be in sync, that if we don't take care of the present, we are not going to have a future. So to repeat once again, or to reiterate, it is very important that it should be included in not only in the syllabus form, but even otherwise the children have to be made aware. And the response that the kids give, the answers that they have, is something which are very, very innovative. And we have the Green Warrior team in our school, which does give us a whole lot of new ideas of doing things.
Thank you so much. It is indeed critical that the idea of protecting and preserving the environment is nurtured in the impressionable minds, young minds, so that they grow up into vigilant citizens who are conscientious about climate change and its effects on the environment. Thank you, Ms. Joshi. Coming to you, Dr. Kulshresht, what are some interactive learning opportunities that you implement in your school that are exposing children to green concepts and emerging practices under climate literacy? If you could share some examples.
Thank you, Rupali. Thank you for the question. Yes, it's a part of our curriculum, but in addition to that, we observe days like Environment Day, Earth Day. So through those days, also we sensitize the children for towards the need of environmental sustainability. Then there are a lot of other activities, as Ms. Joshi said. We have got to do little activities. On a day-to-day basis so that we are able to bring about that mindset change in our children. To talk about the nature walks that we do, when we take our children for nature walks and we also take them to recycling plants, we take them also to renewable energy kind of those kind of setups. They went to Terry. So through those activities also we are able to sensitize our children towards the need for environmental sustainability. Recently, because we are also observing the International Year of Millet, our children did a project, and it is to be stressed over several months. They are doing a project on millets for the millions. So all these activities put together, they make our children realize how important it is for them to take care of their planet. Recycle, reuse, reduce, all these concepts are built into everything we do. Yes, whatever boards and all they do, they have to be used. They use material that has already been used, so that is the reuse that they are doing. Then we also sensitize them not just at what they are doing here in the school, to take it back home in their lives as well. So
True.
teach the children not to use certain like those packing papers and all which are not biodegradable, not to use it even at home. We encourage them, we tell them to try and explore what were the other things the children the people were doing traditionally. What was the traditional way of packing the food? Could we do it in leaves as well? How are the people still doing it in villages? How is it that they do down south? Those kind of things children are coming back and telling us. When they're doing it themselves, they are definitely taking it, they're applying it in their own lives, and not just as a part of curriculum, it is being applied in their day-to-day life, and that I believe is going to bring about a big change in how our children are equipped for the future.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, substantial practice and of course its application, like you rightly mentioned, is required for children to gain knowledge and skills related to green learning, but this requirement is not compatible without the understanding of conceptual foundation, for which I will turn to you, Manav. With climate literate students, there will be a need to create a green workforce for the future. Please help us understand what are green skills and green jobs that we hear so much about, and how will these contribute towards promoting sustainable development and reduce environmental risks in the country.
Sure, thanks, Rupali. So I would like to start with a small story. Something happened 2 weeks back, and we are moving to a new office, and the new office, as you know, we need some lawyer's permission, make sure that the land is fine, everything is okay. And as most of the big law firms do, they ask some of the young lawyers to work with us, and they said everything is fine. And I said, it cannot be fine. There's a lake nearby. Is it in the buffer zone by any chance? And they said, I don't know. I said, are you aware of a buffer zone? The lawyer wasn't aware, right? I said, any stormwater pipes that you could observe using some technology, because all that is available. And is this according to the NGT, National Green Tribunal? And they had no idea about it. And that is a response to to the question that you have, Rupali, that green skills and green jobs. So if you look at green skills, to me, green skills are fundamental skills that all profession will need in the future. You need lawyers who understand policies. You need engineers who understand how to work on low power devices and how to reduce the carbon footprint. You need businesses who do businesses in a sustainable manner. And today we see the Dow Jones Sustainability Index also getting linked to ESG, environmental, social, and governance. So there is an increasing trend towards a low carbon economy. And as we do the low carbon, as we transition to that, we call it the great reshuffle. There is a reshuffle in the skill sets that we need the future workforce. So you need skills which are more horizontal, which is relevant for all professionals. A lot of people think green skills are only for environment and only jobs that are related to sustainability. Unfortunately, that's not the case. Most of the jobs in the future will require this skill set as the primary skill set in many jobs. So one, that is what something I want to demystify. The other is, let's look at the green jobs and the economy, the way it is progressing. I mean, as per some, the studies, the green jobs have increased 8% over the last few years, and the green talent has increased 6%. So now we're going to see this huge talent deficit that is going to be coming up. We keep on talking about, we need jobs on AI, we need jobs on immersive technologies, and there's a big talent shortage. We're going to be seeing a massive, not a less, but massive talent shortage when it comes to green jobs and green skills, because that is what would be required in the future. And if you look at some of the industries that are really progressing in this, where jobs are coming up, if these industries progress, I mean, they're going to be anywhere between 15 to 60 million new jobs that would be coming up in the near future. And these are, take energy as an industry, energy, construction as an industry, agriculture as an industry, water. These are industries that would require all a green workforce of the future. And that's why I think there's going to be a massive shortage. And if we can inculcate a development of green skills in today's youth at the school level, I think that's going to play a big role as they come out and join the future workforce of India.
Thanks. I really love the example that you started with, and climate literate students develop a strong personal connection to climate solutions, thus will feel empowered and responsible about taking care and, of all the consequences that come with it. Manav, to continue with you, what skills and knowledge do students need to acquire in order to become successful green workers? If you could highlight that.
So first thing is that, again, a study, and there are a lot of popular studies now that are available. There's a study that says that if we involve 16% of high school students all across the world, we're going to reduce 19 gigatons of carbon in the near future. So there is a clear linkage between inculcating sustainability mindset, sustainability skills among high school students, right? Not just college students, high school students. So it's very important that we look at it. And if you look at a working professional, right? You need knowledge, you need skills, and you need attitude, right? Of course, knowledge is important, skills are important, attitude. And if you really uncover attitude, it's the mindset. So more than anything, we need a sustainability mindset. After a certain age, it's difficult to inculcate a sustainability mindset. And I would, the first request for me to educators and policymakers is introduce sustainability as a skill subject in high school so that we can develop a sustainability mindset. Because you cannot take sustainability as you go along in your career. You cannot say that after I earn some money, after I do something, I'm going to learn some green skills. No, it has to be part of your core development right now, like presentation skills, like moral science. You have to really take it sustainability from that perspective. And there's a clear linkage of emerging jobs that are coming up. So knowledge definitely, depending on the sector, that is most important. It could be construction, it could be energy. Of course, knowledge on the sector is important. Skills, it could be engineers who know how to work on low power technologies, coders who know how to code in a very efficient manner and create programs which can consume less power. So there are a lot of these skills that are required. And of course, the baseline to me is the attitude that really is important as we enter the next decade.
I really love how you mentioned that, the right attitude and the skill of sustainability mindset that needs to be developed. And I guess schools will play a very vital role in upskilling students in order to keep pace with this transition that is, soon happening. Again, Manav, we'll continue with you. What green jobs do you think will be most in demand in the next decade? And this is very important for me to know, and as well for the parents who will be watching this. They will want to know so much to talk about green, but exactly what are the kind of jobs that are going to be available for their kids?
Again, a short story. So we piloted a sustainability accelerator for high school students just in January for all the CBSE schools. And we saw massive participation, about 600 schools participating. And in the end, we had the final, industry day where we got industry and everybody. Exactly, Rupali, to answer this question. And one of the core, one student, and very brave of him, said, you know what, how do I earn money? Right. There is no money in sustainability. It's like, how will I take care of me and my family and my, like, and that's a very honest question, right? And many young people and many adults have that view that there is no money in sustainability, right? If I have to do sustainability, is like part of my weekend work. Maybe I need to plant trees, maybe I need to volunteer, and even if I do that, that's fantastic. But many people think that to have a green job means that giving up everything and going after something that is more philanthropic. And answering the question from that context, from which I'm sure, Rupali, most of your viewers might have, and students and educators as they answer these questions. You look at the top jobs that are coming up, and LinkedIn, published a report on the top jobs, and one of them was the sustainability manager. And of course, you require some experience to become a sustainability manager, but the average salary that they are pegging for a sustainability manager is over 1 crore annually, right? Then you look at the next set, like, okay, forget the sustainability manager, but let's look at engineers, air quality engineers. That is a job that is going to be coming up. The average salary is going to be 50 to 60 lakhs annually, right? Then there is energy efficiency engineers, right, who are you going to use and who are going to be employed in all these construction and buildings, and because you need to plan the energy of buildings, and you need to comply with standards. The jobs are like the average salary is 70 lakh rupees. So if you really look at the, like, we all keep on talking about new skills like AI, of course, which has been very important. And AI is going to also play a big role in moving India to a low carbon economy. Of course, that is very important. And reducing some repetitive tasks, technology will play a big role. So as we go along, right, if you look at core skills, core jobs, and the average salaries that are coming up, it's huge, right? And that those are the jobs that we need to be make our young people aware of, because when they graduate out and join the workforce, these jobs are going to already exist, and there would be a deficit of talent for that.
Absolutely. And, this should be very encouraging for students, considering that jobs are projected in this in space to grow at 8% that you just mentioned a while back. And the salaries also that you are mentioning, even like a starting level or a manager and sustainability manager, I guess parents, that's really the way to go, and there should be no resistance or rethinking here. Ms. Joshi, what role can a school play to instill green skills and ensure that their graduating classes are prepared to meet the demands of green economy? Considering what we've heard from Manav, could you throw some
Yeah.
light on what is
So,
it that we can
so
do?
when Manav was talking about the various types of jobs available and the salaries, what immediately struck me was that we have a student, an ex-student of ours, who's passed out on about 6 years back, and he is the epitome of a green worker. He's got a place in Rishikesh where he has constructed the house purely on the basis of reusable material, and has gone into mushroom farming. He's an architect by profession, a graphic designer by profession, and it is so fulfilling when I see his blog or I see his Insta posts. So, what he does is he regularly asks people all over the world, in fact, to come and kind of like, be on this place that he has, and learn and kind of like give their ideas. So you have them, stomping in the mud, to make that clay or whatever they are going to be using to make that house. And there's music, there's Punjabi music playing at the back, and you can see the excitement, the happiness that is there. And I keep regularly telling my students in school that yes, money is important at the end of the day, as Rupali you've said, because for parents money is necessary, even for all of us money is necessary. But I think if we do inculcate the right kind of skills in our students today, now something like a very small thing like switching off the lights, switching off the fans, then we take them and say, okay, this is the solar panels that we have, this is the water harvesting system that we have. I think these are the skills which are very, very important for children today. And I really feel very happy when my students come back to me, 9th, 10th, 11th, and they say that we've asked our parents that, let's have a solar panel. I know it's expensive, but let's invest in that. So these are the kind of things which are reiterated again and again. And I think the workforce that we're going to produce, and let's say the awareness level, the alertness, and the commitment has to start from the school. One cannot say that everything the parents have to do. Ultimately, it is in our hands also. It's the right kind of attitude, as Manav just said. If that attitude is inculcated in our students, for example, we had the Visarjan of Ganpati, and each child had made a clay Ganpati. Now we told them that you cannot put all of this in the water, because the water is going to get dirty, it's going to get polluted. So what are you going to do? And there were novel methods that the children came up with. So I think even at the junior level, if we start with all this, we are going to reach great heights, and I think India is going to be very, very successful in this.
I guess like a few schools I met. I'm sure you're doing it in your school as well. They have projects where all waste from the canteen is managed, in those compost forming digs. There is a lot of discussion on sustainable practices, like you also mentioned about water harvesting in this school, and kids are themselves involved in putting out the solar panels and creating this and being actively involved. I think the other way could also be maybe some schools could collaborate with local businesses and organizations to provide internships so that kids get exposure to green jobs. If that is also that can be taken up, that could possibly as well. And of course NAP does highlight environmental education is a big priority area for them as well. So I guess increasingly we'll see schools taking up more and more initiatives to give them hands-on and immersive experience to the students. um,
Rupali, you
uh,
said just one second. You said the right thing. That it's how we deal with the students, and how we kind of like not teach them, but how you're kind of inculcating this in the curriculum as such. Now you talk of internships. It's very important for the children actually to. So we tried that. Go and there was this Yamuna cleaning project, and you should have seen the amount of uh, parental discomfort and disagreement that they had. We don't want our children going and cleaning the Yamuna. No, they're not going to do that. And the kids who went and came back, they were like, in awe of the thing, and they realized that Yamuna is actually very dirty right now. So we as citizens, what is our role? It's a very small thing, but I think the right attitude, the right spirit has to be inculcated by the educators.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that, Tanya. Manav, 1M, 1B has launched climate action clubs across schools in India. We would love to hear the highlights of the 1M, 1M, 1B's Green Jobs and Sustainability Accelerator program that will be beneficial for the youth.
Yeah, and in fact, Rupali, it's sort of it is something that you were just talking about. So what we intend to do and what we started. I mean, we've been working in the education space for the last 8 years now. Have been working on various skills, AI, now AR, VR, metaverse, digital creativity, and something. And we do this with all the CBSE schools, as well as tribal schools and some of the state schools. And something that we thought of that we need to take sustainability in the same way that we are taking technology education. So we started a green jobs and a sustainability accelerator. Probably this is the first. I've not heard about it, where we are mobilizing about 1 million young people of India to to develop a sustainability mindset and the attitude that we were talking about. Now, if you really look at what is happening in India, I heard there was the first engineering college that was established last year, which is just focused on climate technology. So there's a dedicated engineering college in Gujarat, which is focused on developing engineers who could innovate on climate technology and be part of the workforce. There are other initiatives that are starting in the country where they're saying that let's upskill people, because forget about jobs, there are going to be a lot of job losses as well as we move to a low carbon economy. So how do you upskill yourself, right? Because you might be working in an industry that is going to fully transition and you don't know what to do. Automobile is one of the areas, right, where you have very skilled workforce that needs to transition to the newer engines, right, for example, that are coming on electric cars. Similarly, green hydrogen. So a lot of conversations happening. So what we thought was, engineering college, frankly, to me, and since we've been working a lot in this space, is too late to develop a mindset. You need that mindset in high school. So we started this sustainability accelerator where the aim is to develop 1 million young people and mobilize them. And something like sustainability cannot be taught through a curriculum, right? Of course you need to have thoughts, ideas, deliberations, policies, discussion happening. But what you need is the industry to come together. And for the first time, perhaps, industry, Aditya Birla Fashion and Retail, has come together, and they're going to offer workplace experiences to some of the top students who are going to graduate out of this accelerator. That means that few students will go to Aditya Birla Fashion Retail, which is a large corporation. Textile is a big industry that is going to see the transition in the environment standards. So they are going to be hosting students who will learn sustainability by being on the shop floor, by shadowing a sustainability manager, by working with people and seeing what their day-to-day work looks like as they transition to a low carbon economy, or as they reduce their carbon footprint, or how they reduce and how do they take care of water, how do they dispose of water. And we are looking at a lot of textile companies, a lot of FMCG companies, a lot of water companies to come together and partner on this massive initiative all across the country. We're going to give young people these kind of micro internship, workplace experiences, kind of immersive programs where they can learn on the field, and then they can come back and say, how will I now think about sustainability and what skills I need to do to acquire these kind of skills. And this is how the industry. So basically the sustainability accelerator is a like a fast track. It's a bridge between what is happening in high schools and what is happening in industry, and giving these young people that kind of immersive experience on how the industry and how the shift is happening to the low carbon economy by giving workplace experiences skills, which includes internships.
This is excellent, and congratulations to you. I think it's a brilliant program that 1M1B Sustainability Accelerator has launched, and is how you're striving to create awareness and encourage participation of young minds by making them more aware and sympathetic to problems while giving them hands-on experience. I think that's brilliant. That's kudos to you. Dr. Kulshresht, with green jobs becoming an attractive sector, how can we encourage and support students to pursue green jobs and careers? More so, I would say again, how can parents encourage their children to consider green work as a valuable career choice early on?
I think we need to talk more about it, because as a community, we have been observing that there is a very clear shift towards responsible fashion. We are ready to pay a little more when we are told that this dress, this garment has been developed in a environmental sustainable manner, or it is eco-friendly. Similarly, ecotourism, it's a new thing. We all are ready to pay a little more when we know that it doesn't damage the environment. For organic food as well, we know that people are ready to pay a little more. When people are ready to pay a little more, that means people associated with those career choices are to gain more in terms of their income. So these are the things we need to make the parents and the children aware of. Of course, these days children are very well informed and they are the ones who make their choices. It's not much a matter of parents pushing them into a certain career choice. So we've got to sensitize our children. We've got to talk to them about these kind of opportunities that are there in front of them, just like Mr. Manav spoke about right now. We have environmental engineers, we have energy auditors, and we have green energy architects and all. So we've got to let our children know about all these opportunities. Then we could get in people from different walks of life who are already into it and making a decent living, because it's not just about making a good life, it's also about being able to earn a decent living. So once the children get to know, the parents also get to know that there is good money in it, I think there will be no hiccups about choosing those career paths. Then there can be some exposure visits. We could take our children to places where they are already practicing these and how flourishing they are already in these sectors, and that will help our children make informed choices. So basically it has to be three things: the orientations that we do as schools, the interactive talks that we arrange for them with people from different walks of life who are already making a career in sustainable agriculture, sustainable fashion, sustainable even tourism, and then also exposure visits that we can arrange for our children. So together all this will ensure that more of our children are encouraged to take up careers that are green.
Yeah, I've always believed, parents serve as a major influence in their children's career development and decision making. And they are really the ones who need to be counseled also first. So it is vital that parents are aware of green jobs as a way of generating potential employment and income opportunities in their child's life.
So
Manav,
yes,
how?
okay.
Sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Funny about that, yes, we do have orientation sessions, not just for the children. We also have parents, for parents as well. And then when we are guiding our children, basically the ones who are in class 9th and 10th, when we are guiding them about making their career choices, we talk to the parents one on one and guide them on what are the opportunities available for them, looking at the aptitude of the child, looking at the psychometric analysis of the child, looking at what the economy needs, what the community needs. We make those suggestions to the children and the parents one on one. It is done. So I think through those as well, parents, and of course parents, when they come to know that there are other things which are as lucrative as those traditional opportunities, there won't be any resistance on that front.
Manav, while I was not, going to ask you this, it just occurs to me in your accelerator program. Is there any role that you play in counseling parents at all, or you leave it to how brilliant those immersive experiences are for students that they themselves go and give feedback to their parents? If you
Yeah, in
could.
fact, we tried doing it that way, Rupali, but I think the reverse counseling works much better in this case. Because the young people are more conscious, they are more aware, and when they are given opportunities like these, they really flourish. So we've seen kind of a reverse pressure that they are talking to the parents, and when we are talking about, and that is the whole reason not to do this program. We could have done this program even in engineering colleges or for young professional, young adults. We are not doing that because we tried it out in various places, and the best place that I think we've seen return is high schools, because they're you're open, your creativity is high, you want to learn, and the mindset is the biggest issue today. The attitude and the mindset. So no matter what we read, we don't have a common understanding. We don't have a common truth that all of us are facing. Right? It's so hard for getting everybody together and say, we need to align on this common truth that this is bad for the planet. And we don't have that because in our country there are other issues that we are grappling with. So I think what we did was we did the reverse. But the good thing that is happening is when a student gets selected for an internship experience, which is typically not available, right? Then people become more aware, then they are more educated, and we see that the education through children is really playing a big role in us even shaping behaviors of people my generation. Like I'm talking about the same generation that the parent are, but we see that the reverse playing a big role there.
Sure. So, Manav, again to you. How can we ensure that green jobs are accessible and inclusive, especially for underrepresented communities also? Is there something that's happening there, or you have some inputs?
That's a great question, Rupali. In fact, if you look at it, the battle for climate is being fought more in the hinterlands than in the cities, right? Of course, if you look at energy, construction, transportation, yeah, those issues are there. But if you look at protecting our natural reserves, taking care of the forest, cleaning up rivers and making sure there are enough activities happening, you need more a workforce in the hinterlands who are educated and who get an opportunity to do that. So one, what we have done is we are also launching this initiative. It's going to be announced next week. We're going to be announcing this even for tribal school students. So we have a partnership with the Ministry of Tribal Affairs, and as part of that, we are offering the same program to the 300 plus tribal schools that are available and that are present in the hinterlands of India. So the same program that you see some of the top schools, even international schools, having the same program will also be available for them. So a big focus of ours is to make sure that we are inclusive in offering that. In fact, a personal goal is to have a few students from the tribal school come to Aditya Birla and have an immersive experience on what the industry looks like and what they can do, because they are getting some real grassroots knowledge, right? They are there. They know the issues. We are also starting up an accelerator, an entrepreneurship accelerator, where we're saying, okay, you come up with ideas and tell us how to solve it, and we're trying to mobilize funding so that such ideas could get funded. And such ideas coming from students who are in the hinterlands will make more sense because they are more poised to execute it and they are living it day by day. And there's a law of innovation and problem solving that if you don't face it, you are most unlikely to solve it, right? And these people are facing it, right? They're fighting it. They're the climate action warriors. And so we are enabling them with the tools, resources, education, internships to make sure this program happens. And we go sort of making sure that it's inclusive for everybody the way it is for students in the cities.
Great, thank you. And at that note, I would also like to mention that glad that you spoke about the involvement of students in trying to create projects. In fact, at HT School, we too ourselves are in advanced level of discussions with a partner to invite students. Going to be called, the property will be HT School Ecothon, probably. That's the working name as of now, where we will be inviting students to come up with projects which will benefit and create a sustainable environment. So I'm sure we will invite you as well to see that what happens there. One of green jobs will be the most sought after jobs, just as digital is to the workforce of today. What are your 3 quick tips for students to practice in their classrooms as well as homes so that they're prepared to take advantage of this change in the coming future?
So basic thing, and is this going to help them whether they take any job in the future, is problem solving. Develop problem solving as a skill set in anything that the students do. Problem solving should be huge, and as any job that is going to come up, whether it's sustainability, AI, AR, VR, one of the top skill that everybody is talking about is problem solving, because that's a skill that is not being taught in schools and the curriculum is not encouraging that. Of course, there are a lot of good changes that are happening, but I would say anything that they're doing, look at problem solving as a mindset, so that they can inculcate the problem solver's mindset in anything they do. It is problem solving is just not for entrepreneurs or innovators. Problem solving is for job seekers as well, and that's a big skill everybody is saying is missing today. So I would say problem solving. So have more project work, more come up with problems and go and search for answers, and fail. That's fine. Having being resilient to failure is very important. And as you solve problems, that's going to happen. So that's going to problem solving, and coupled with having being okay with failure is something that I would say. Projects is something that I would say. And the other is making sure you have not an individual mindset but a community mindset. I think that's going to be a big change that we need to inculcate in our young people, that think from not just what's in it for me. So there's this popular notion, you read any MBA books, what's in it for me, and everybody is going to solve that what's in it for me. And that looks like a corporate mantra today and MBA jargon today. And I did my MBA and I was taught, look, answer what's in it for me. I think we need to change that. What's in it for the community is important. We're going to be thriving together. Otherwise, we're not going to be thriving at all. I think that's a common view that all of us should look at. So developing mindset, skill set, tool set, which propels the student in this direction, I think is very important, and request the educators to look at it from this dimension.
I think attitude was one that you also mentioned. So I'm going to add attitude as well, the right attitude to it as well. So that is all the time that we have today, ladies and gentlemen. India's path towards a net zero emission economy can create over 50 million jobs by 2070, as we hear. On the same note, education is crucial in fostering citizens who possess knowledge about the environment and climate, as well as the skills necessary to address related issues. Increased awareness resulting from education can inspire individuals to engage in climate sensitive behaviors and contribute to more informed policy discussions regarding environmental and climate action. Integrating environmental and climate education in the foundational curriculum, as we heard today, from primary to tertiary education, can prepare India's youth to forge a path towards a sustainable future, eco friendly, and a safer one too. Thank you so much all for joining us today. Have a good day.